Representative from Oklahoma, Congressman Tom Cole. Tom, good to see you again.
Great to see you as always, Tom.
Hey, let's happy birthday, first of all.
Yeah.
You know, from a fellow Taurian, Joe, when you've got a Taurus as a partner, you're a lucky man.
And,
all right.
We're very stubborn.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I've heard, Congressman.
Reliable.
So I've experienced. Congressman, let me ask you, let's switch topics here and talk about minimum wage. It was voted on in the Senate and voted down. There's some Republicans. We had Tim Pelini on the other day and many other Republicans, if you look at the polls, that believe the minimum wage should be increased, maybe not to $10.10, but it should be increased. Is there a compromise on this issue? Is there a middle ground where, for instance, a raise to maybe $8.50 or $9 an hour
for now
can be exchanged for approval of Keystone?
Well, there's always a potential compromise, and I think you hit the formula, which is to put something that creates jobs with something that, frankly, is clearly going to cost jobs. You raise the minimum wage, you're going to lose tens of thousands of jobs across the country. Second, you do have to realize in this case that, look, individual states can act on this as they choose to. 19 already have minimum wages that are higher than the federal standard. And, you know, the point I've made before, there's a big difference between the cost of living in New York or San Francisco and Oklahoma City. So whether a one-size-fits-all minimum wage makes a lot of sense, I think is worth thinking about. And again, states have the ability to act if they think it's in their interest.
Chuck Todd.
Congressman, how you doing?
Hey,
let me ask you this. Do you think the minimum wage should be raised at all right now? Would you raise it at all nationally? Aren't we at one of the longest periods ever that we haven't raised it?
Well, we also in one of the lowest inflationary periods ever, too. But I think your point is worth thinking about. Now, I'm going to address it from an Oklahoma standpoint. Yeah. Do I think we need to raise the minimum wage in Oklahoma? No. I'm not going to be presumptuous and tell you what needs to happen in New York City or San Francisco. Again, they have the ability to act on this on their own. But would I look at a minimum wage increase if I thought there were other things attached to it that would create jobs, like Keystone and additional things? Yeah, I think I would consider that, because I think job creation is such an important thing and something that we've done a pretty miserable job at over the last several years.
Steve Ratner.
Congressman, yes, you're right. We're in a low inflationary era, but at the same time, we haven't raised the minimum wage since 2009, and it's now actually lower in real terms than it was back in the 1960s. So isn't there a strong case? And historically, the federal government has been involved in raising the minimum wage at times like this.
Look, I'm not telling you there's not a case to be made here, but there's also a case on the other side. One, individual states that want to move can move. Two, we know, according to CBO and plenty of other economists, that raising it is going to cost a lot of jobs. I mean, losing 500,000 jobs is no trivial matter in an economy that still has an unacceptably high unemployment rate. So, look, I get the tension here, but I think this has been politicized. I don't think that. Look, I suppose the president certainly is supportive of doing this, but let's be real. He's using this as a political weapon. If he was serious, he would put something else on the table that would attract Republican support. So far, he hasn't done it. I think he enjoys the rhetoric of the debate.
There is a compromise to be made here, and we'll see if the president comes to the table with something other than 10-10, which he knows is not going to be passed. But put in Keystone, put in some other incentives that will actually create jobs for working class and middle class Americans. I bet he can get support. Mark.
Congressman, what significance will be signed into law before the midterm elections?
Well, I hope a lot of appropriations bills, since I'm an appropriator, and we're actually doing the normal work of Congress for a change. I would expect a WRDA bill, a sort of infrastructure bill. I think we're going to do something in terms of the transportation issue, because transportation fund's going to run dry sometime this fall. Don't expect a permanent fix, but I would expect some sort of extension into early next year. But to your basic point, look, not a lot. I think we've done some important things since the Ryan Murray budget agreement. We've had an omnibus spending bill, farm bill, flood insurance bill, dock fix. I can tick them off. But I think the big things largely are being pushed past the election by both sides. And that's unfortunate, but I think that's the political reality.
All right, Congressman Tom Cole, thank you very much.
Thank you, and again, happy birthday.
Fellow Taurus. Taurus. Whatever you say.
We have at least that in common. Thank you very much, Tom, for being on the show. David Gregory, thank you as well. What do you have on Meet the Press this Sunday?
We're going to be talking to Governor Rick Perry, Kevin Johnson on the fallout from the Sterling story, and on this Correspondence Weekend, will.i.am will even stop by.
We shall see you there.
Talk about his political involvement.
All right. Chuck, Todd will be watching the Daily Rundown at 9:01:30.
9 o'clock straight up, Chuck.
Ron,
straight up.
I don't know, man. We'll see.
I'm going to make Joe be quiet.
If you get it before 15, I'll be impressed.
Happy birthday, Mika.
Yeah. All right.
Okay.
Ron, if you can stay with us, that